everyone, welcome back. Today is my very first how-to video. I'm super excited about this one. I'm going to be showing you how to fix a garden hose today. So the reason why I will be fixing a garden hose is because I may or may not have left the garden hose on while we went on a walk for like 30 minutes and had the nozzle end attached to the other end of the hose. So water was pumping out into the hose, but it wasn't being released because it only gets released when you squeeze the nozzle and let the water come out. There was like water shooting out the side of my house. And my husband was just like... So I thought, this is an easy fix. I'll just go buy a new garden hose. It's not that big of a deal. And I realized that it would be like $30 or $35 to buy a brand new hose, like the kind that we already had. So I was kind of thinking, that seems like a lot for a garden hose. I think some of them are like 50-something dollars. So I was in the hardware section, and there happened to be hose replacement pieces in the aisle that I was in. I did not know that you could repair a garden hose, so I just bought all the replacement parts because I didn't know which part I needed. Went home and YouTubed a bunch about how to fix a garden hose. Turns out you can do it and you can be successful at it. Before I start the video, there are a couple tips I want to give you that I didn't mention in the video, so I'm just going to say them now. Make sure before you go to buy the replacement parts that you measure how big your hose is. So the circumference around from one end to the other, make sure you measure that so you know what size of replacement piece to get. Also, there is a male end and a female end of a hose. So make sure you figure out which end you'll be repairing and if that is the male end or the female end so that you get the correct part. Another tip I would suggest is to use a very, very sharp and durable knife. Some people mention that you could use a box cutter to cut the hose, but I feel like that blade would snap pretty easily. So I used a pocket knife, which I guess you could use if you needed to. I don't know, I felt like even a pocket knife wasn't really as great as it could have been. So make sure you use a very sharp knife and also a knife that's durable and won't snap because you're gonna be kind of sawing through rubber. Without further ado, how to fix a garden hose. My hose split on the end where it connects to the spigot, so that is the end that I will be repairing today. When you're cutting off the end of the hose, you want to make sure that you make as clean of a cut as possible and as straight of a cut as possible. It's a little hard for me to do that here with a pocket knife, but I did the best I could. And as you'll see, I have to cut it twice because the first cut was pretty crooked. As you can see, my cut isn't super straight, but it's straight enough that it will work to repair the hose. I specified which end of the hose I was cutting off because that will determine what kind of coupling you will need. So there's a male side and a female side, and I'm not sure if it's the same for all hoses, but for mine, the end that hooked up to the spigot is the end that I will be replacing, and that requires a male coupling. So I bought a male coupling just at our local hardware store, and it was about $5.50. And so as you'll see, I'll be putting the coupling on here and then securing it with the ring. This is my first time repairing a garden hose, so I didn't realize that in order to secure the ring, you need to use a screwdriver. So I spent a lot of time trying to pull the extra part of the ring through and realized that's not what you're supposed to do. So to save you time, know that you will need a screwdriver and you cannot tighten this with your hand. So once it's tightened, you want to make sure that the hose is directly up against the bottom part of the male coupling, and also the ring is as close to the bottom of the male coupling part as possible. And then you want to make sure that it is as tight as possible, because if it's not, that is where the water will shoot out. I also bought an adapter while I was at the hardware store. This was about $6. What this will do is one part will screw onto the male end of the coupling that I just replaced, and the other part will screw onto the spigot. So it will directly connect the hose to the spigot. And there's the finished product. This was a super easy repair. It cost me about $11.50 for the parts and probably took me about 10 minutes or less to do the repair. Thanks for being here, everybody. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe down below. We love having you here. We love connecting with you and hearing your thoughts. Have a great 4th of July. Be blessed in Jesus' name. See ya.